Children who are losing people they love to gun violence, natural death, unnatural death, are a significant source of new special education referral. Why? Because we fail to recognize that these are people who need time to heal. So he loses his grandmother who raised him because you wasn't around. So the grandmother raised him. Grandma dies, Big Mama dies. You think he's supposed to shake it off in 2 weeks. He go back to school, he getting in fights, beating people up, cursing the teachers out. He never did this before. Now the school's saying we need you to go get him tested because we think he needs some medicine to manage his emotions. Some Risperdal, okay? Some Concerta, some Depakote. So now your son is on crack for kids because you didn't want to get him no grief therapy. Now for those who don't know, there's 5 stages in the grieving process, okay? 5. The first stage is called shock. That's when you first find out that you lost somebody you love. Shock. That's stage 1. Stage 2 is denial. You deny the fact that you lost the person you love. I'm giving you this why? Because some of y'all have children who's still grieving. I don't care how long ago the person they love died, they could have died 10 years ago. There's no timeline on grief. And some of your children are struggling in school, not because they can't do the work, but they need to process some life events. But because you don't want nobody in your business, they gotta suffer in silence. Stage 3, bargaining. Bargaining is when you talk to the deceased or you talk to God and you ask them for another chance. Can you come back so we can make this right? God, give me back my sister. We was on bad terms when she passed away. This can't go down like this. Bring them back. Let me make it right. Denial. Bargaining. As you can see, if you're bargaining, you're still in denial because you're not accepting it going because you're trying to strike a deal. Stage 4 is acceptance. That's when you finally accept that the person is gone. That's where we want people to get to, right? But the problem with acceptance is what? That can lead you to a deep depression because once you accept that they're not coming back, that can be a very painful thing. The last stage is resolution. That's when you're able to integrate the experience into your life and move on. Resolution is the goal. Resolution is the goal. Now, a lot of us, children and adults, we fluctuate between acceptance and resolution or bargaining and acceptance. Sometimes when we lose somebody we love, we develop a what? Chemical addiction because we don't want to get to acceptance. So we've been drinking since mom died. We've been self-medicating with marijuana since our husband passed away. Okay? We've been shopping like crazy, spending every dollar we make since we lost our favorite cousin. Okay? You ain't accepted yet. You might not be in denial, but you haven't quite yet accepted. Listen to me. As it relates to children, even though education is important, it is not more important than working through their own personal issues. For example, some of our children come from homes where the parents fight and fuss every day. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Fight and fuss every day. We know we don't deserve to be together or shouldn't be together because this just ain't working. But guess what? We're not going to get no counseling. We're not going to separate for a while and work it out. We're just going to stay in here because it looks good to the rest of the world in my church to see that we still married. Because that's what the pastor said we're supposed to do. So you think you're doing your children a blessing, but you're really doing them a curse. Because a child living in a house with both parents who don't do nothing but fuss and fight all day is worse off than the kid living with one. And then we got the single parent phenomenon. I got single fathers who tell me at the fathers group, I don't need the mother, I can be the mother too.
You can.
I got the so-called strong black woman syndrome. that says, I don't need his father, I can be a daddy too. No, you can't. And one of the reasons why we have so much mental illness in our young people is because many of them are psychologically unstable because the amount of masculine energy they got from their dad and the amount of feminine energy they got from their mom was not balanced. See, if a boy gets too much feminine and not enough masculine, you may have just effeminized him. And if a girl gets too much masculine and not enough feminine, you may have just masculinized her. They need both. One doesn't do. If you look at every psychological illness of what makes a healthy adult, children who come from stable two-parent homes, they live longer, they're healthier, less depression, less chance of chemical dependence, stay married when they get married, as opposed to being a serial monogamous. So my point is they need both parents. And guess what else, parents? It is not your place to decide whether the other parent is good enough to be in their life.
All right.
Because I get a lot of that. Well, you know what? He do need his father. But until he stops selling drugs, he can't see him. Well, wait a minute now. When he has your son, is he selling drugs? No, he wouldn't do that. They normally at the grandma house where the pop lived. He take him to the movies, that kind of a thing. Is he at war with any drug deal, anything, you know, any violence? Nah, he ain't been in nothing like that, but he just selling. But I don't like that. I don't want that around my son. I understand that shouldn't be around your son. But if we had assurances from him that it ain't going to be around your son, then he need to see that boy. Or, if you don't trust him, let's do supervised visitation where he come somewhere neutral, okay, to see his son for a couple hours or however, but their boy needs that masculine energy. But to say he can't be with his father because his father's selling drugs on the corner, that's not a justification, okay? Fathers, we come up with excuses too, okay? He can't see his mom, she can't see his mom because she's around too many men. Well, when she's with your children, are the men around? Nah, she don't bring them around the children, but still, I don't think that's being a good role model. You should have thought about that before you laid down. I'm saying it because in the black community, children are the weapon that we use against each other. Failing to recognize that every time we castigate the other parent in front of the children, you're chipping away at their self-esteem, not the other parents. Because they are both. So no matter who you talk about, you're talking about me. To make a child choose which parent they're going to side with is ridiculous. And what else, parents? Y'all got to stop thinking that just because you got a husband who's better than the biological to the child, or you got a wife who's better than the biological mother to the child, understand something about children. They want their own. Make sure your wife don't take offense. Make sure your husband don't take offense. It's not that you're not a good stepfather. He loves you too, but you're not his biological. He needs the connection to his God nature, and you ain't it. You're a surrogate. You're a good surrogate. Don't take offense to what's going on, but you are not the biological. And a child wants their own mother or their own father. They don't care if they're homeless, on drugs, ain't got a job, crazy. They want their own. Let them have it. And when they want their father and don't get their father, they come to school and they daydream all class day. 8 to 3, they staring out the room. 8 to 3, they scribbling in a notebook. And after a while, guess what? It's time for some ADHD medication. Because you know what ADHD stands for, right? Absence of my daddy from my damn home disorder. Give me my father back. Don't give me no pills. I want my father. You want to give him pills because you don't want to give him his dad. This whole ADHD thing is ridiculous. Half the kids in many of our schools, the black boys, especially in the inner city, half of them on medication. Now, why should that automatically raise a flag for you? Statistically, mental illness should be no more than 15 to 20% of any population. So if mental illness should not be any more than 20, how you get half? You know why? Because half their daddy's in jail. Half their dad's been arrested. Half of them ain't got no men in the house. So guess what? The teachers are saying we ain't got to be bothered with this. because he's on medication, and ever since he's been on the medication, I don't have no problems out of him. Nobody's talking about the fact that the medicine killing his brain cells. We're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about the fact that it's messing with his kidney. We ain't going to talk. We're not going to talk about the kidney, the liver, the heart. We're not going to talk about the strokes and the heart attacks. We're not going to talk about the epilepsy and diabetes that it caused. We're not going to talk about the fact that he's now hallucinating. He's seeing things and he's hearing things telling him to do things. We're going to talk about the fact that she gained 30 pounds in a month or lost 30 because of the drug. We're going to talk about the fact they can't stay asleep or can't go to sleep or can't wake up. Most importantly, we ain't going to talk about the fact that the drugs we giving these black and Latino boys is destroying their ability to produce healthy semen, so when they're old enough to have children, they will not be able to impregnate their wives because you thought it was important that they could sit still long enough to be miseducated. When do we wake up? The problem ain't the children, it's the adults. Stop getting my little brothers and little sisters tested when you know why they doing what they doing. You might be the problem. And if you the problem, special ed can't solve it.